and gentlemen, welcome back to a very, very special edition of the Still Safe Show. We sit down with some of the dopest individuals who have some of the coolest stories of change and transformation. I like to call them dope God stories. And something tells me we got a story to tell. What you think, man?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Man,
sir.
I am sitting down with my homie. We go way back, all the way to about 2 days ago. The man, the myth, the legend. That's right, Kyle Alexander. Bro, it's such a pleasure
Man,
to be rocking with you.
pleasure is all mine.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Man, tell me where we are. This is a pretty dope spot. Like, why are we here? How did this all come to be?
How do we meet?
Yes.
We're here at a pretty dope Airbnb. This is where the mastermind portion of the event took place, but
Yeah.
we connected through Carl Phillips, right? And he had his first event recently that was amazing.
Amazing.
Very transformational, and really just helping people overcome common limitations that they have and removing mental blocks and getting the tools that they need to really move forward. And it's just such a supportive environment, such a wonderful community. And we were able to be kind of tight knit. And then today we were here,
Yeah.
you know, talking shop and
Oh, it got
meet
deep
each other.
today.
Yeah,
It got deep. It was transparent. People was sharing all their business. Like, but it was so transformative. I've shared with the group a number of times. And I was just out here DJing, a fly on the wall, but I came expecting to be transformed by the message of the speakers, but I left impacted by what everybody else who attended was sharing. So it was incredibly therapeutic. What was your role though, man? Why were you here?
So I'm a part of the team. I'm one of the coaches for the group. Been coaching for the past year, pretty much every week, and just diving in with people. So
Yeah.
I was here to be a support for the event, but also to kind of lend my expertise or just working with people who have our similar personality type to be able to just contribute some more information. But today, for the mastermind group, the platinum folk, we got a finance conversation to really change and elevate what's possible, and also to talk about some tools that you can get to make that possibility real. You know what I mean?
What is that possibility, man?
So the possibility is, the shortcut is anything is possible.
Come on, let's go. I like that.
Anything, and that's the first mindset block that we have to remove, is that it sounds cliche, but anything is possible. And this is what we learned from this weekend: is if you can speak something out into existence, then the size of your question determines the size of your answers.
Man.
Right? So if I speak a big question, then the variables have to form to make that a reality.
Okay.
Right. So we talked about some of the limitations of, like, okay, why do I need or deserve a certain amount of money?
Yeah.
But typically we have to link that back to, okay, what do I actually want in my life?
Because I can tell you what I want.
Yeah, go for it.
I want to go on several trips a year.
Yep.
I want to be able to kick back and eat whatever I want to eat whenever I want to eat it with whoever I want to eat it with.
Yeah.
But no, seriously though, that was probably one of the most impactful moments, because something that you shared in that time was about creating a list. And most of the time when I've heard these messages, it's always make a list of how much you want. But you reverse engineered it and said, what do you want out of life, your lifestyle? Like, how much is it going to take to fund that lifestyle? Everything from your personal wishes and desires to your necessities and living expenses. Yeah. And that totally changed my mind.
Yeah, and one more thing above that, not just living expenses, but what is it that I want to give as well, right?
Yeah.
What impact do I want to leave? What do I want to do to people positively?
Yeah.
You know, so, and that, each one of those things has a line item, has a dollar amount associated with it, right? So once we add all of that up, now you have a number that you can feel like, oh, I can back this with all of my being, right? And it just adds up to a certain amount, and you got a list, and you say, you know what? Okay, now I got something I can work towards. Now the next step is, okay, you ask the question. Yeah. Well, what does it take to get this per month?
Yeah. I had to go backtrack, and I recently pulled one of my bank statements, because I'm like, God, dog, you're right. Like, it costs to do everything. Like, I don't even want to leave the house sometimes, because I know just walking out the front door, my life has depreciated, or my bank account has. I'm like, my God, like, and I got 5 kids too, so everything costs money. Yeah. But so I recently went through that process of saying, okay, cool, it's going to cost me X amount of money for gas, and this is what I want to do, this is what I want to give. So that was incredibly impactful. But you mentioned expertise earlier, and then I want to get into something else after that. Tell me a little bit about that expertise. Why did Carl and the crew feel like you were the right man to deliver that message? to this group of people?
Yeah, so I mean, me in particular, it's something I've been, studying for a long time, but also, the reason I'm even here is because of my access to business credit,
Come
right?
on.
And being able to get between my wife and myself, our household, over $500,000 in business credit cards within the span of like a year and a half, right? And all of that, what that does, what that did, and is still doing for me, is allows me to get into certain rooms, allows me to, access different people, different education, without having to come out of my own pocket, right? So that's a big part of that, and I think because I've been talking about it and encouraging people so much, that they chose me to share that information with everybody else. So I've been using that to just get more and more information, and as soon as I get it, I'm ready to just give it back to the community.
Oh man, so it sounds like you got a lot to give back to the community.
Yeah. And I have a secret to share.
Come on, let's hear it. We all about secrets to success around here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have the secret is the presentation today was not planned.
Oh, really?
Right? If that was just I was just off the dome.
Nah, come on.
Yeah,
bro. Like,
off the dome, right? So and the thing is, it's like a lot of times we don't realize how much we know until we start talking about it to share it. You know what I mean? Right. And it was like tip of the iceberg of what I really want to share with people. I was able to go over the high level things. You know what I mean? But there's so much more to get into, and really the biggest thing was like, man, we have so much access. There's so much opportunity to be able to do this stuff and create this stuff. The world that we're in, it's like opportunity is right there, but we just don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know that it's there. You don't know to look for it. You don't know to ask for it. So that's like the biggest roadblock.
Right. You don't know what you don't know.
Yep.
And I think that was what was so powerful. You broke down like different levels of business in terms of like owning a job. Like, some people when they enter into entrepreneurship and they think that, hey, I'm my own boss. Like, no, at the end of the day, you just own a job, right?
Yeah.
Because you're still very materially involved and hands-on.
Yep.
And then you go from that to actually the business phase and then to the investor phase. That was very, very impactful. But talk to me about, you told me about the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the iceberg. What is on the horizon that we can look forward to? Because if all I got today was the tip of the iceberg, I could take that and run with it.
Yeah.
But you're telling me there's more?
There's more. There's more. Yeah, there's more detail, right? So I'm having an event, right? December 26th.
Let's go. The day after Christmas.
Right, day after.
Oh, that's my Christmas gift.
Listen, we getting it. We're getting it right before the new year, right? Yeah. So it's really to talk about, hey, you can have access to business credit, right? In the form of credit cards, business lines of credit, all sorts of things that can add up to 50,000, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, 250. Yeah. If you're set up the right way, you can access that and then leverage that however you want to.
Come on.
When it comes to building your business, or maybe you need to hire somebody to come on to, elevate you so that you're not the one having to be always in the business and doing everything, but you can start to build up and really scale up. So that was just one aspect of it.
My favorite word, scale. Like, tell me a little bit about how and why scaling a business is super, super important.
Yeah.
Especially for like my young entrepreneurs who, like those people that we talked about who are like very hands-on in the operations and, like they can't really remove themselves from the day to day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And there was somebody here today that we were talking, and it's, there's one thing to be directly involved and like, I'm going to go and get it and I can create stuff. And this is the mindset that we start with because we're used to just having a job. We have our role in it and we do it and we get paid a certain amount for it. You know what I mean? But then, so you can be very successful, but then there's a cap. It's like almost like a glass ceiling. Because when you're trading your time for money, you can only do so much, right? And as you know, with 5 kids, let's say you were super successful. You did all your time and you got a lot of money from it. But now you have no time for your health. Yeah. Health is suffering. Now your family is suffering. Now your relationship is suffering. You know what I mean? And what is that worth? Not worth it, right? So about scale, now we have to find ways to automate, right? And to empower other people to be able to do what it is that we're doing. So now we can elevate above. Yeah. Right? So now that if we had to walk away from the business for a month or for 2 months or for 3 months, now this thing is running on its own. Right? So, and that's a whole different ballgame because now your mind is free to be able to think on higher planes, or your time is free to be able to spend with your family, or to, you know, whatever it is, pursue your passion or whatever the case. Case in point for me, where I'm heading, once I get financially free, I'm pouring into music.
Come on, let's go.
I'm creating more music, but without having to feel like, oh God, I have to make money from this. I can just put pure passion into it. I'm pouring into, let me educate other people about what I've done, the things that I've learned, you know what I mean? Right. So like that point of freedom of something that is passive. You know, and we heard a quote, get passive as soon as possible. Right?
And we had to clarify, we were talking about passive income, right? Because we don't need to be passive aggressive or anything like that, but definitely getting I think getting passive has always been the goal for me, for a lot of people. I heard a Tony Robbins quote where he's like, what's your exit strategy? And I think that every good businessman should have some sort of exit strategy, right? And I think I gave you my stages of like business development, taking it from infancy, taking your business through adolescence, and then the teenage years where your business kind of makes some mistakes, right? Yep. You lose a little bit of money, maybe even lose some people. But eventually the goal is to get your business to college, grow it, scale it to where you can let it graduate and become an adult, right? Yep. A self-sufficient, good law-abiding business citizen that you don't have to baby. That you don't have to support, that you don't have to feed. But what a lot of entrepreneurs do, and I know I made this mistake, is I started depending on my baby too soon. It didn't go through the stages. And I started pulling, like, what parent do you know, like, has their 10-year-old son or daughter and says, hey, it's time for you to pay bills. Right? But a lot of times, us as entrepreneurs, we jump in prematurely and we pull and kind of rape our businesses. So that's why I'm so excited about this event, man. So tell me this. You already told me when it was, the day after Christmas, right? And tell me a little bit more about who, like when you sat down and said, hey, I'm doing an event. Who did you have in mind? Who is this event for and why does it matter so much?
So it matters so much because it's the person that feels like, okay, I know what it is that I want to do. I know I want to do something, but I don't have the money, right? I don't have the funds. And then the question is, okay, well, how am I going to get the funds? How am I going to do this? And I want to say that you don't have to go through all these different hoops because the money is out there. And this is just one aspect of what I want to share because business credit is one part. But now we're talking about government contracts, right? We're talking about...
So you want to cover all that?
We're covering all of that.
Give me a little bit more.
We're talking about government grants, right? We're talking about how to leverage infinite banking and life insurance policies to be able to grow your generational wealth even more. So all these different strategies that give people access to what they need without having to worry about like, okay, where is this going to come from? It's there. You just got to do a few steps and get yourself lined up so that now you can get access to it.
Awesome. I got one more question for you, man. And then we'll wrap up because I want to make sure we share exactly how we can get tapped in and connected. Man, what if my credit sucks though? Like, I'm gonna just be real. Like, I got a lot of folks out there. We'd have made some mistakes. We'd have made some bad business deals, and we kind of in a tight spot. Like, could this course help me too?
It can, yes. And the thing is, we want to start today with whatever it is, whatever the next move is, right? So that next move is going to involve cleaning up. There's ways to clean up, right? We also have to clean up the mind to be able to say, hey, there were certain things that we did that got us into this place. We just put some simple strategies in place as far as like budgeting, as far as tracking different things, right? Just to build up that foundation. And then depending on where you are, it could only take 90 days, maybe, or 6 months. Even if it took 9 months to clean up, you know what I mean? And then you got to that place where you can now access 150,000 or 200,000. Would that be worth it?
Well worth it.
Yes, sir.
Worth it. Well, since we know that it's worth it, man, I'm signing up today. Can I just let me know, how do I sign up right now?
So we're gonna go to fundingmyfuture.net.
Fundingmyfuture.net. Okay. It's going down, man. Well, I gotta make sure I get on this Uber. Did my Uber come? They here? Okay, I gotta catch this Uber real quick. But let me tell you, man, Kyle, it has been a complete honor just to be in your presence. Everything from the moment we linked up to trying to make sure the AC and the temperature was right in the room. Listen, it was phenomenal. Carl is the GOAT, and it's just, man, my brother, thank you so much, man. I'll see you December 26th, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you next week.